I'm excited to announce a new sponsor of mine, Main Shore Solutions. If you or someone you know needs to have a dock installed, removed, or if you're looking to improve your waterfront property, give Main Shore Solutions a call at 290-4891 or visit their website, mainshoresolutions.com. Happy to have my next guest back on the show. It's Sage Philippe, who will be making his NEF debut at NEF 55 on November the 11th when he takes on Ryan Sanders. Sage, how are you?
Let's go. Let's go. What's up, Ryan? Thanks for having me on the show. And I'm excited, man, for my debut for NEF.
I'm excited to have you come up and fight for NEF. Obviously, I was able to commentate one of your fights for Ammo back in the day. You've been in the game for a while now, so it's exciting to see you here. You know, in a big spot like this. This is the co-main event. You're going up against a veteran fighter. First, let me just ask, how excited are you to make the trip up to Maine and make this promotional debut?
Yeah, first of all, the trip is long, so I'm not excited about that. But as far as like the opportunity in itself, that's what's getting me up in the morning. So we talked a little bit off air about, following Ryan and that's your guy, that's your guy, and he's been at the top for so long. So when I got the call, I was like, this is it. This is the opportunity, you know what I mean? This is the fight. And this is not only the fight that I'm excited for, but I know everybody else is. The whole entire Northeast is going to be watching this because they know they got two guys that like to slug. They like to throw a ton of strikes, pressure fighters. So me and him, we're going to be right in the middle.
Let's stick right with this theme of you versus Ryan Sanders here at NEF 55. We all know what Ryan likes to do. He likes to stand and trade. And you just said, your style is to come forward to stand and trade as well. He's had some problems against wrestlers, guys that want to get him down to the ground and control him, stay in top position. Does that come into play at all when you're thinking about going up against someone like Ryan Sanders, or do you want to stand and test yourself on the feet?
Yeah, I mean, you guys basically have kind of seen my style develop, especially you, Ryan. You've seen me since you commentated my first amateur fight. So I can do it all. I can wrestle. I mean, I could strike. I could do it all. So what makes it fun about this style matchup between myself and Ryan is a lot of reasons you see me doing it all is because I have to most of the time, right? Because I'm going against a guy who's with tremendous amount of experience, and Ryan does as well. But also Ryan's here to put a show on for his fans. So this fight's a little bit more fun in my opinion because I don't have to worry about much about the takedowns. And if Ryan does try to take me down, I mean, good luck doing that. So we get to kind of, like I said, man, I'm a pressure fighter. He's a pressure fighter. So we're going to collide in the middle. That's the key. Now, what that's gonna look like, I mean, tune in November 11th. Like I said, I don't even know myself. What I do know is I'm coming forward. I'm coming to get you. I can't afford to go back. I can't afford to be passive in there. Obviously, you guys know I'm a volume striker. I'm a volume guy. So it's a match made in heaven, in my opinion.
Did you watch Ryan's last fight against Ali Zebian? Obviously, there's a lot of tape on Ryan. You can watch a lot of his fights over his long professional career, but most recently, when you're looking at his game now, I mean, he's 35 years old, I believe. So, a lot of people would say, well, he's, smack right in the middle of his prime, but, you're getting towards 40 and then things fall off a little bit for most guys. Do you feel like you're still getting the best version of Ryan Sanders?
Yeah, I believe so. The reason being is the guy is extremely active, just like myself. So, when you're extremely active, you always gotta be in the gym. You always gotta consistently be getting better and making adjustments. And I watched a little bit of that fight versus Ali. The thing about that fight, I don't really go crazy too much on tape. I used to. I don't do it anymore. I probably watch a couple seconds and then, because like I said, I'm focused on what I'm doing. But Ali Zebi is not a true welterweight. That guy is a 45er at best. He fights at 55 too, which is a good weight class, but he's not a welterweight. So I don't even really take that fight into consideration. I just know from what I've seen of him, he likes to come forward. So that's what I like to do. You know what I mean? So one of us is going to take a back step. You know what I mean? I can guarantee that. So that's really my focus. I really focus on myself. He's a phenomenal fighter. He's done a phenomenal job for this entire region. That and the reason why I say that is there's so many fighters, man. I like to call them like the golden gooses. These guys don't fight, and they basically when they do that, they're holding up the entire fight scene in the region. You understand? So a guy like Ryan, he's a guy that everybody should look up to because he's somebody that fights everybody, not just cherry picking this guy, cherry picking that guy. So that's one thing that I admire tremendously when looking at him. But as far as like tape and what they're good at, what they're bad at, I don't really focus on that. I used to. I don't do it anymore because when I'm in front of him, he's gonna show me something, a new wrinkle. So what's the point of watching tape and going nuts about that?
Okay, yeah, that's a great answer. You say, you're a volume striker. I would say Ryan is a volume striker as well. Who do you think has the more power between the two of you?
Oh yeah, we're about to find out. We're gonna find out, because like I said, we're gonna find out because not only are we the reason why I feel as though myself I'm such a volume striker, like I said before, I'm fighting. Uh, uh, Most of the guys I do fight are not one dimensional. So not only am I having to consider their striking, but I also have to consider their jujitsu, their wrestling. So it's a lot more threats. So that's why you see a lot of volume when I strike. It's really just to, again, push that pace, push that pressure, so I can break my opponent. But as far as like what I would like to do, I would glue my feet into the freaking mat and swing. Because like I said, I know if I can connect, I can put you down. But you've seen my record, you've seen my resume, you've seen the people I fought. I'm not fighting guys that you hit them a couple times and they fall and fight's over. So I got to be a little bit more strategic. With this particular fight, like I said, we're both pressure fighters. So we're gonna meet in the middle, like I said. And I'll be honest with you, like I said, I don't know how it's gonna play out. I have no idea. What I do know is I'm gonna come forward and I'm gonna try to take your head off. So we're gonna see who's got the a little bit more pop in their shots. Come November 11th. Like I said, I don't. Like I said, I really truly don't know until I get in there and feel them out.
Okay. Welterweight bout. What do you walk around at these days? How heavy do you get?
No, I'm very light. Like I said, you seen this is my fifth fight in what 6 7 months. So my last two fights, I did it in between 1 week, and I made weight, 170. So I'm like real light right now, like 83, 84, because I'm cutting so consistently.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible for me to even put the weight back, back
Gotcha.
on because again, I'm just training, fighting, I'm cutting weight. It's a lot. I'm traveling. So the weight's not a problem. Um, Training's not an issue. Being in shape's not an issue because again, I'm just so active. Ryan, again, when you're active, you don't have to worry about these things. You know
Right.
what I mean? You just get to focus on fighting.
And how old are you now, Sage?
29.
Okay, you're still so young. I
Yeah.
mean that would make sense why you can stay so light. You get north of 30, then it's harder to drop the weight.
Yeah, yeah. I don't listen, you say I'm young, but in fight years, I don't feel young, man. I think when I first met you, I was what, 23, 24. And I'm saying the years just like flew by. But yeah, in fighting years, 29 is you don't feel young. But but yeah, I take care of myself, and I love doing this. Love being active. And that's really the key. When you stay active, kind of keeps you away from injuries, Um, keeps you away from bad weight cuts. There's a lot of positives when you stay in the ring.
Sure. Now you're 4-5 now as a pro. We'll talk about your most recent fight, which was October 7th, just very recently at Ohio Combat League. That was a split decision loss. Before we talk about that, I just kind of wanted to ask where you feel you're at right now in your career. What are your goals moving forward? Obviously, a win over Ryan Sanders is a huge statement. What is it that you want to accomplish now as a professional mixed martial artist?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, again, I'm not even really supposed to be here. I mean, you know this, especially you know this, right? You commentated my first fight. I'm a guy that like I really mean this. I'm not even supposed to be here. I don't come from a fighting family. There's nobody that's telling me and got me into doing this. Um, Believe it or not, I still don't even have management. You understand? I just started. I just got. into an MMA gym. You're talking about 6, 7 years of doing this, and I'm finally in an MMA gym. So yeah, I'm taking it one step at a time. Um, Getting better. I'm a purist when it comes to this. I played football before this, so I have this different perspective on in this whole entire thing, which it kind of helps me and it kind of hurts me. You get me? So yeah, I'm taking it one fight at a time, and letting the opportunities and everything come when they do. You understand? So one thing I know is, especially in this sport, you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, and whoever is ready is the ones that gets the opportunities. So that's one thing I do love about this sport. Obviously my record is shit, right? Obviously the casual fans, when they look at that, they're like, man, this guy sucks, right? And yeah, they're probably right. but my performances speak for themselves. My resume and who I fought speaks for themselves. And like I mentioned before, it's just doing the right things, going out there, putting my best foot forward, and giving it my best. Some nights you go out there and your best is not enough. That's fine. You go back to the drawing board, you get better, you step back in there. Again, a lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of people don't want to continue doing this with a 4-5 record, or 1-4 when I first started at the beginning of the year. But they're doing it for different reasons, for money or fame or whatever, accolades, whatever reason that they have. Myself, like I said, I'm a purist. I truly love doing this. It doesn't bother me to get up at 5 in the morning to start training. Yeah, does it freaking suck when you're taking steps back, when you're committed, all you can to this? Of course. But like I mentioned in my performance in Plymouth, Mass, this is real. Life, these things happen. It's all about how you respond. Um, and as far as my career goes, um, I want something that I'm proud of. I don't want to feel that I had to change or do something for whatever reason. I want to go out there and be the best I can possibly be. And obviously, after this fight, I got to sit back a little bit, look at the landscape of things, be a little bit more intelligent, right? With the fights that I'm taking.
Mm.
But I'm totally focused on this fight right now. I'm ready to give my all to in this fight because it's a huge opportunity. And again, I can't thank Ryan, NEF, for giving me the opportunity because they really didn't have to. Like I said, I'm a freaking nobody. You know what I mean?
Well, that's not true. We both know you're a very, very good fighter. So sometimes you forget what the casual fan thinks, right? They look at someone's record and they think that's what the fighter is, and that's not the case. You're stepping in there against high level competition. So we both know that you're a darn good fighter, Sage. Let's talk about this recent one, okay? October 7th just happened, a split loss against Melvin Harris at Ohio Combat League. What's the takeaway from that one?
Yeah, again, like I just mentioned, you got to always look at the positives and negatives and everything, right? As far as that fight, I had 2 fights within 2 weeks, crazy, right? Um, but there was a mistake that fight. That's what my takeaway. And sometimes in life you make mistakes and you'll learn from them. You don't know it's a mistake until it happens, right? Until after the fact. Um, just like I mentioned with my last statement, after this fight with Ryan, I need to step back and look at the landscape of things, right? Really understand what my moves are instead of just making moves, because again, I look at this as a sport, right? But not everybody does. This is the entertainment business, all right? So I have to understand that, and that's the lesson that I got from that. We talk about the scoring system in MMA and all this stuff, and a lot of my losses, I felt like I won them. I felt like I won them, but then I sat back and I was like, oh, maybe I need to fix this. Maybe I need to wrestle more. Maybe I need to strike more, and I did those things, and I do these things. So to kind of fall short now, it's like, okay, I'm hitting all the strike, I'm hitting all the criteria, I'm pushing the pace, and here we are. I'm back to square zero. I'm still losing fights. So it all falls back to me at the end of the day. I should have finished that kid, right? I should have absolutely finished that kid. Shouldn't even went to the judges, right? I'm fighting in his hometown. Uh, The commentator trains with him. One of the judges who judged the fight trains with him. So these are the things that I learned after the fact, right? Because again, I'm Russian. I want to get in there. I want to perform. But, you got to sit back and look at the landscape of things. Look, really see where what positions you're putting yourself in.
Yeah.
I'm focusing too much of, oh, we just want to fight, because that's what I like to do.
Mhm.
But this thing is so much bigger than that.
Yeah, sounds like that was a situation where the cards were stacked against you, and a finish probably is what you needed to get your hand raised in a
Yeah.
situation like that. Tell me though, prior to that fight, though, Sage, you were on a 3-fight win streak. Where has the biggest evolution in your game been?
Yeah, the biggest evolution of my game was coming down to Xtreme Couture. Like I told you, this my entire career, I was training at my boxing gym. So I'm training at a boxing gym for MMA, right? Biggest mistake ever, right? But up there in Western Mass, we have gyms, we have opportunities and things of that nature, but I just never kind of found my niche. You see what I'm saying? As far as like the MMA aspect of it. So I went down with Ali last year to Extreme. And we went there on a hunch. I'll be honest with you. We didn't even call anybody or nothing. We just went there on a hunch. I saw what they were doing with a lot of fighters, like Chris Curtis, like I was following, a guy who had like no wrestling and was getting taken down and this and that. He went there and he developed tremendously over there. So I was curious, like what was the secret? I'm like, what's the secret they got going on over there? So I went down with Ali, and I went there to become a better fighter. And Lord behold, I found like a community. That's what I found here in Vegas and Extreme Couture. I found like an actual community, a fighting community at that, which I never in my mind thought it would be possible in this business. Because you get Ryan, you've been in the business, you know how it is. But that's what I was introduced to at Extreme. Not just You're not just a fighter. Well, we're not just here to make money off of you. You're not just here to train. This place is a community. We take care of each other, and yeah, we do kill each other, but we take care of each other, and that blew me away. And Sean Strickland was the one who introduced me to that, and he was the last person in the entire room, I think, right, would do that. So yeah, I went down there, trained with all the guys, got smashed, got taken around, and I was like, man, this place is pretty awesome. So then I was like, I gotta do a camp out here. So my fight versus Tricell. I was like, let me just go do a camp out there. Let me stay out there for like a month or two, right? So got on the plane, stayed for about 2 months, did my full camp. I was like, man, I've never felt so ready in my entire life for a fight. I was like, yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll. So when I went out there and fought Tricell, and the kid was good. But I was just tremendous. Like, I was just impressed about my performance because I was just able to like push in there, push. I was able to just do everything. So basically made up my mind. I was like, yeah, I'm moving to Vegas. So 2 weeks after that, um, packed my shit. I was in finance, so I could do that anywhere. Um, Jumped in my car and drove 40 hours cross country.
So you're living in Vegas full time now.
Yeah, I'm in Vegas full time. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Now, when you first went there, you said you went with Ali. Is that Ali Zebian?
yeah. Ali Zebian. Yep.
Okay. And is he still there too, or did he come back to the East Coast?
No, Ali's in the East Coast. Ali's in the East Coast. Yeah, he's in the East Coast. I'm the only crazy person that decided to move out there. But it was a necessity, like again, it was one of the things that was conveyed, listen, if you want to be serious about this thing and want to do this thing, you got to be all in.
Mhm.
You can't have one foot in the door, one foot out the door. And especially for a guy like myself, the competition that I'm fighting, um, I don't have a choice. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So it made sense to me, um, so like I said before, yeah, I jumped in my car and drove the 40 hours, came down here, got situated. And yeah, and again, like a crazy person, took a fight right after that again for Plymouth. So I didn't waste time. So in the last 6 months, I'm into my fifth fight. moved cross country, relocated everything in about like 6, 7 months.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a lot, but you're talking about a guy who who started the year off 1-4. So I needed to do something very extreme to get that turnaround. And I knew this was a place without question.
So you said you're in finance now. That's what you're still doing to pay the bills?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, right now, like I said, fighting right now is I'm all in. You understand? But yeah, I've been in finance for the past what 7 years.
Mhm.
So that's what was doing as a profession. But as of right now, like I mentioned before, I'm all in on this. You know, sacrificing basically everything, my time, uh, obviously money. You know how expensive this stuff gets,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I can put the best performance that I possibly can and give myself the best shot to success, basically.
So what specifically in finance? I can't remember if you mentioned that to me the last time that we spoke. What exactly is it that you do?
Yeah, so it's finance and insurance. So
Okay.
I worked at a dealership. So I worked with lenders and customers, getting them approved for auto loans.
Gotcha.
So I did that for, like I said, I did that for about 7 years. Um, so so yeah, it was one of those things where everything kind of aligned perfectly. Let's just say that, because right now we're in the middle of a recession, right? Nobody wants to say it, but we're in the middle of a freaking recession technically. So it kind of just aligned perfectly for me to be able to do the jump to Vegas, to be quite honest with you, transparent.
Good for you.
So so it worked out. It worked out. I was like praying on it, man. I was like, I need like something for me to like get this ball rolling so I could, put my full time here on fighting. And it happened. It happened. And I was able to get the opportunity to do what I'm doing now.
So who are like your main training partners there? Are you going with Sean Strickland and Chris Curtis a lot?
Yeah, yeah, like those guys are no joke. And like I said before, Sean was the first guy, one of the first guys that sparred here. And so it's so funny about like Israel Adesanya, right? Everybody's like shitting on him, right? Well, not shitting on him. They're saying that he had a bad night. And we have bad nights. But Sean's one of those guys, man. He does that to everybody. He does that to everybody, especially if it's like your first time fighting a guy like that who's extremely unorthodox. He when I first sparred him, it was literally 200 strikes to zero. Could not touch the guy. Could not lay a finger on him. And I'm sitting there like just so confused, like why am I not able to hit this freaking guy? And it's just he's extremely unorthodox. He has a wacky style. Uh, the strikes that he throw, you're thinking you're supposed to slip it one way, but again, it's so unorthodox. It catches you. So he's a nightmare, man. You guys don't even understand how much of a nightmare that guy is. You just think that he stands there and strikes. That guy is an absolute terror in the freaking gym.
So how much better are you now, Sage, versus the Sage that you were before you made the move to Xtreme Couture?
Oh, I'm tremendously better. Like I mentioned before, last year when I went there, I got to train with the pros, and I was doing well against them. Like, oh, you're doing well against the pros, no problem, no problem. So then that's when they put me against Albert Duinov. That's a UFC world middleweight. Sean Strickland, Chris, and those guys absolutely freaking destroyed me. It was a wake up call, man, and it was extremely humbling because I swear to God I've never got my ass kicked like that in my entire life. And so I was like, yeah, all right, you guys got that. You guys got that. I'm sold. So yeah, as far as the guy I am now, you guys see my performance. I mean, it is totally different person. And and again, I don't like I said, I now working with MMA coaches, but it's the fighters, man, that have helped me out tremendously. Like the guys like you just mentioned with Chris Curtis. There's a ton of guys too that are not even that you guys don't even know that are absolute monsters. And that's the amazing thing about our gym is the top guys and the top fighters are leaders, and and they respect hard work. They respect people that grind. They don't care what your name is, who you're from. The coaches are the same way. As long as you're putting that work in, they work with you. So I've been very fortunate enough for those guys to elevate me. Since I get to train with those guys, I get to get better. And I get to help them get give looks. But no, without those guys, I definitely would not be where I'm at now as far as like my level, 1,000%. Obviously, I have the skills. I know how to punch. You know how to kick. You know how to do that shit. But at that level, it's all mentality. It's all mentality. I'm telling you, man, it's all mentality. You can have all the skills in the world, but if you don't have the proper mentality, it doesn't matter. And when I get to train with those guys, be around those guys, I get to like a sponge. I get to absorb some of that.
Yeah, no doubt. So NEF 55 is the same night as the big UFC pay-per-view in Madison Square Garden, where John Jones is defending his title against the former champ Stipe. I have to imagine Eric Nixick will probably be there because he'll have a couple of fighters on that card. Who will be in your corner come fight night?
Yeah, I gotta work my corner. You know what I mean? The head coaches, you gotta understand something. Like we have so much fighters in our gym,
Mm,
and I got a phenomenal relationship with them. But I'm getting paid peanuts right now. You see what I'm saying? And those guys' time are extremely valuable. And what I mean by that is because there's so many fighters right now that that request them. Because they're phenomenal. So I'm not even at the level right now to even be able to have them in my corner because not just because they're booked already, just compensation wise too.
yeah,
So that's a downside, obviously, right, of being here. But it's another aspect of the gym where you gotta build yourself. You gotta build yourself. Like I'm new in the gym. I'm the new guy. Well, obviously, like I said, I got a great relationship with the coaches because basically the ones who recruited me there. But I got to build myself. I got to build my name. I got to build myself to be able to have their time.
gotcha.
Because there's fighters already there that's been trained with them for years, guys. And let me tell you something. Every guy in the gym loves and wants those guys to be in the corner. Those guys are the best in the business. You understand? So so that's another reason why I keep throwing that out there. Just continue to build myself, continue to get better. Like in the gym, there's so many champions that winning a championship, they treat it like it's nothing. Winning fights, they treat it like this is what you're supposed to do.
Mm,
You
yeah,
understand? So the expectations in the gym is you guys don't understand. It's unreal. Sean Strickland comes in with his world championship belt. Was it? I want to say a day and a half after winning it. Throws it on the mat. Freaking breaks it. Throws it on the mat. It's like you guys can have it. He doesn't give a shit about the belt. Because again, like team, the coaches, everybody pouring into each other, getting better. That's what got you to the opportunity
yeah,
to win it. So
for
that's what
sure.
matters. That's what they're focused on. They don't give a shit about winning belts. Obviously, they care because that's what we're here to do, but they don't put any emphasis on it. They want the focus to be about getting better, putting your head down, and showing up. Not just because you're some superstar or you think you're good and you can do what you want. No, that's not the operation there. Everybody's on the same playing field. Everybody's got to show up. And the cool thing about it is practice and things of that nature is hell, but you get to experience it together.
Right.
So it's like a brotherhood. It's like honestly, it's like gladiators. You know what I mean? It's like we all get to go through it together. No, nobody's different. Nobody's gonna skip a session or hide in a freaking locker room, because they don't want to go through this brutal session. You don't have that there. You know what I mean? So it's a different operation there. So when guys like, oh, who's your corner? Oh, who's this or this or that? Like, dude, the gym's massive, man. You know how many fighters that they got to fly out and Coach Eric, he's pretty soon he's going to be going for with Francis,
Mhm.
out in Writing. So these guys' time is ridiculously valuable. So you gotta earn that. You gotta earn that. It's another thing you
Gotcha.
gotta absolutely earn.
Well, I'm sure whoever you're going to have in your corner, it'll be someone that you know well, and someone that they'll do the job just fine. Have you already booked your flight to come back east? Like, when do you actually get into Maine?
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna be there for like a week back home. And then I'll start making my way down there. So Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, I've been traveling like all year, as you see. I'm freaking in Kentucky, I'm in Ohio, I'm in Mass, I'm in Vegas. So I'm pretty used to it right now. I got a process down pat, as far as weight cutting and getting down there, being on weight and making sure I got everything in line as far as medicals and things of that nature. Every state, is regulated differently, right?
Mm.
So requirements are different. So I get on top of that. So like I said, I'm a professional, and I make sure everything is proper before I come down.
So have you ever been to Bangor before, or will this be your first time coming all the way up here?
No, that's my first
Okay.
time down there in Maine. So that's another reason I love this fight game. You get to travel and see different places. But yeah, it's gonna be my first time down there in Maine. I'm excited. I'm excited for the fan base. You mentioned the UFC, that big fight there. That's gonna be there for November. It's a huge card. But guess what? You got the main fans in the building. Watching me and Ryan throw down, and that's awesome.
Hell
That
yeah,
that
man.
that, I just love that aspect of the fight game where you got your fan base. They could be sitting at home watching freaking UFC or watching Bellator or whatever the case may be, but they're gonna be down there in Maine, man, watching a slug out.
It's going to be rowdy. The fans in Bangor get into it. There's no doubt about it. So ultimately, Sage, when you look at how this fight finishes, we've already talked about it here earlier in the interview. It doesn't seem like you're going to give like an official prediction or anything like that. But do you anticipate this going the distance? Do you think this is
I
going to
have
be
to
a
get a
decision?
finish. I have to get it finished. I have to get it finished. So, like I said before, I'm fighting your guy's home guy. And I'm used to that because this is what I've been doing my entire career. But I gotta get it finished. That was another again, like I said, mistake I made my last fight. You understand? And it's a mistake that I'm about to rectify 100%. And like I said, I'm excited for the opportunity. But in all likelihood, my aspirations for this fight is one of us going to the hospital. That's my aspirations. You know what I'm saying? That's the mentality that I'm going in there in the cage with, is one of us to be hospitalized. And it has to be like that, um, because that's the game. That's the name of the game. And work too hard, sacrifice too much to go in there for anything else to happen out of my control. So I got to do what I got to do.
Whew, that is a fire quote, my man. I guarantee that's the one Matt Peters is going to use when he writes this up and starts promoting it. Sage, great to talk to you. It's been far too long. Can't wait to see you in Maine. Make sure you come say hi before everything gets going here on fight night. It's great to have you back on, my man. Before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor. If there's anyone you want to thank, anything you want to plug, the floor is yours.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, I want to thank NEF first and foremost for giving me the opportunity. Ryan as well, because like I said, that guy he can fight anybody. He's been fighting for you guys his entire career. Um, Obviously, my team here at Xtreme Couture, my team back home in the Northeast as well. That has basically helped me to get here. I'm excited for this fight. Excited for this opportunity. You guys have no clue. I'm ready to put a freaking show on for you guys, and I can't wait. Tune in November 11th.